Rusame reader, Rusame, and today I will be reading to you from The Masquerade by Daughter of Apollo, 2019. Now, on to Chapter 13, The Preparations. Time seemed to speed by. It's like when you really want some event to happen, it seems like it's taking forever. But whenever you don't want something to happen, everything else gets pushed out of the way to make the thing happen faster. And I did not want this ball to happen. The closer we got to the day of the ball, the more second thoughts I started to feel on the whole thing. Everyone else was super excited. Australia, New Zealand, even Mexico. This ball was the only thing they'd talk about, which was unfortunate, because it was the only thing I didn't want to talk about. But nevertheless, the day arrived. And once again, I found myself getting prepared in Canada's room, because I have no sense of fashion myself. Britain said that this ball wasn't going to be a masquerade, meaning the chances were a lot higher of me being recognized. That wasn't great for me, because that just meant everyone would be coming up to try and talk. And I really didn't want that. So I let Canada pick out my outfit, just like last time, with hopes that if I dressed fancy enough, people might mistake me for someone else. I'd always been told I looked like an old friend of Phil's, Malaysia. I'd never met him, but almost everyone told me we looked a lot alike. Maybe tonight is the night I'll finally meet him, and I can convince him to take my place so I could leave. Almost like every story of the Prince and the Pauper, which my father forced me to read as a child. Actually, I never understood the story, or the message that the story was trying to convey. America, I need your opinion on this. Which looks better? Canada asked me suddenly, yanking me out of my daydream of being able to leave the ball early. I looked up to see Canada holding up two different ties. I sighed. Can, we've been through this. My fashion sense is a train wreck. I rolled my eyes at my brother. I know, but just like if you had to pick one, Canada asked, once again looking between the two with great interest. I don't know. I randomly pointed at one of the two. That one? My brother inspected the time I was pointing at more intensely before nodding and putting it on. Why aren't you ready? I had the clothes all laid out for you. Canada questioned me with a touch of suspicion as he began to tie his tie. I stayed quiet, but hesitantly got up and started getting ready. We remained in silence for a few minutes while I struggled to get into my suit. Hey. Canada broke the silence. He was already finished and sitting on his bed casually, waiting for me. I huffed, still trying to put my suit on in a way that looked nice-ish. You're nervous, Canada continued, ignoring my frustratingly vague response. It wasn't a question. I sighed. Yes, Canada, I am. At this point, I had pretty much given up on looking nice and was purely trying to get it on. Why did suits have to be so complicated? Why? My brother asked. You told me what happened, and now you know not to make the same mistake. Oh, Canada, if only you knew, I muttered under my breath. It wasn't about the mistake, or even the misunderstanding. It never was. All I cared about was how Britain was going to react. He didn't really like any of us, but I could tell from the look in his eye that I was his least favorite. He never said it was never explicitly stated, but I could tell. Of course, Canada never had to deal with any of that. He was always the best. Britain loved him, Mother adored him, and all of the servants in the house knew he was the best behaved because he always said thank you. Canada never had to worry about getting into an argument with our father. Canada never had to cower in his own room afterward, wondering if that had been the last straw. As much as I loved my little brother, he would never truly understand my situation. He would try to, and try to put himself in my shoes, but he wouldn't get it. And he shouldn't have to. I knew what the people thought about us. I knew everyone thinks Canada would be the better king. A knock came at the door, along with a muffled yet loud voice from outside. Oi, you dingbats, you better hurry up or we're gonna be in trouble. I couldn't help but laugh at Ozzy's choice of insult, and I yelled back, We'll be out in a minute. Give us 2 seconds, you knucklehead. I heard some shuffling behind the door, and after a few seconds, we knew Australia had left. Well, you heard the man. We should probably get going, Canada said. I nodded, but as I went for the door, I looked back. Lying on the bed, where I had fiddled with before, was the Masquerade mask Canada had given me. I really wanted to bring it. It had felt more freeing to be able to not be pressured by who I was, who everyone knew me as. As soon as I left the room, I knew that this was going to change. I could already hear all the Prince of Americas playing in my head. Canada seemed to notice me looking back. It's gonna be alright, my little brother gave me a smile. Hey, and if you ever feel too stressed, come find me. I'll always be there for you. I gave Canada a small smile. Thanks, Can. Then I took a deep breath and opened the door. And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoy. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time. And I will see you tomorrow.